There are 5 principles we really talk about when we engage with HOP. The first being that error is normal. We're not saying error is desirable, that it's good. Sometimes it's good. Trial and error is, we've had all kinds of inventions and innovations through trial and error, but it's an acceptance that people are human, and being a human means we make mistakes. We forget things, we sometimes can be inattentive, we're human. So rather than focusing on trying to stop error, creating war on error, trying to achieve 0 errors, which is just really a fool's errand, we accept the fact that, okay, people are human, they'll make mistakes, and therefore we need to build systems that allow for that allow us to make errors in a safe way. Because ultimately, if we're 1 error away from a serious incident or an accident, that's not a human problem, that's a system problem. Our second principle, blame fixes nothing. Now, humans have a tendency when things go wrong, we want simple explanations and we want someone to blame. Now, we can't stop that because that's human, but what we're saying is it's really not very helpful. And every organization kind of really knows this deep down. Many managers we speak to will say to us, I've never really felt comfortable with this whole we need more accountability, which basically is code for we need more blame. So taking blame away really enables better learning. That third principle then, systems drive behavior. If we say, well, it's not just about errors and choices, it's more about, well, what are the influences in the system? Why do people behave the way they do? We get a lot more curious in HOP because we want to find out what are the organizational influences? Why are people making the decisions they're making? Because we can generally know with a great degree of confidence, people make decisions that are locally rational. They don't go to work to hurt themselves. They don't go to work to hurt other people. They don't go to work to screw up the supervisor's day or damage equipment or whatever it might be. So what we need to try and do is empathize and be curious and try and understand why they did what they did, because it probably made sense at the time. And if we just blame them and send them away from the organization, we don't learn about what that is. And therefore we leave the same conditions in place for someone else to potentially make the same mistake or error in the future. So error is normal, blame fixes nothing, systems drive behavior. And our fourth principle was really about now being a lot more interested in learning. So learning is vital. If we don't learn about those conditions, we don't change them, and therefore we're fixing the wrong things. The amount of organizations we work with and see that they seem to basically have the same corrective actions over and over again. Same sort of policies and memos and procedures and retraining, which aren't really moving the dial in terms of actually improving organizational performance. So we really need to be learning when things go wrong, but even more vitally, learning from normal work and learning from everyday actions. Because it's there we really can start to tap into the creativity, the innovation, the capacity which is already there in our organization, which we're just not tapping into. Also, when we acknowledge the fact that accidents and normal work really look very similar. In fact, oftentimes the only difference is an accident or an incident is the outcome. If we accept the fact that most of the elements of an accident and normal work are the same, we can do so much more learning by going and looking at normal work. Finally, our fifth principle, response matters. Now, we use the term response deliberately because oftentimes what we find we do is we react. And reacting is very different to responding. Managers and leaders and everyone in the organization really, if they are working on managing their response to failure, that creates a far better environment where we can actually then learn and develop and grow. Making kind of knee-jerk reactions, which often then involve blame or judgment, gets in the way. So if we can manage that response, organizations will be far more effective across all these different measures.